Great. Hi, guys. I'm Olivia. I'm the co-founder of Healing Hub. 45 million people undergo invasive surgeries every year. And I know a lot about this because almost a year ago, I had a spinal fusion to correct my scoliosis. And this experience can feel quite isolating, especially when it's hard to find answers to your questions before and after surgery. I remember as I was recovering, looking up my symptoms online, and I always ended up feeling worse than before I did that. And I could call my surgeon directly, but all he could tell me was, wait 6 weeks and see if anything changes. The only thing that I found helpful was getting my answers from people online, going through it at a similar time as me. So let's see. Okay, this is one of the TikTok comment sections I was in, where someone a few weeks ahead of me was able to share that she had a similar numbness that I did, but it had gone away for her by that time. But this is pretty disorganized. There's 9 people responding to my original comment here, and it's all out of order, and also hard to find. So my experience overall showed me that people are searching for these platforms, but the ones that are available are not really sufficient for this type of communication. So that's why we're building Healing Hub to foster these connections for patients as they progress on their health journey. If it doesn't play, it's fine, but basically it's just the Figma design showing that you can join different communities based on your specific procedure and filter based on age, location, where you are in your surgery timeline, and procedure-specific filters so that what you're seeing is relevant to your situation. So this is what we kind of want it to look like, where you can join like whatever your specific procedure is, or maybe it's a condition and filter like pre-op, post-op. If you're a week out from surgery and you want to see like what recovery might look like for you 3 weeks out, you can see that, and probably skip through. Yeah. So the market that we're focusing on is the healthcare advertising market in the US. And if we were able to get 5% of our service obtainable market, we could earn an annual recurring revenue of 18 million, and that's excluding private practices that might also benefit from the type of referral-based marketing that especially these specialty departments rely very heavily on. So our plan is to make the app free for users by allowing hospitals to subscribe for a page on a separate tab in the app that would list their physicians and allow patients to schedule consultations directly, which is why we're charging per physician that they list and per consultation that's actually booked. I started this with my friend Eric. We're both 4th-year computer science majors at UF, and we came up with the idea in December when we participated in the UF Startup Launch Competition, and we've been building it ever since. Right now, we're working to get the first iteration onto the App Store, and hopefully that will be on there later this week. And then we want to work towards a product market fit and getting users, and hospitals in the process of working out a business associate agreement so that they can ensure HIPAA compliance if they were to get onboarded with our app. And then eventually we do want to start fundraising to give us more time and help with development, as well as the legal counsel that we would need for certain features. Thank you for listening. Please connect with us, and I look forward to hearing your questions.
Olivia, great pitch. I was thinking, are there any regulatory measures you have to kind of play within the boundaries of? What does that look like when some of the users are talking with each other and between each other and with physicians? What does that look like? And as a computer science major, I'd just like to pick your brain on how's that managed and how's that data interpreted with, and what are you looking at that?
Yeah. So with Apple, in terms of submitting the app, when you have user-generated content and users that are talking with each other, they already require a certain amount of safety features. So you have to be able to block and report, report users and stuff like that. So we've actually submitted it and had to work on those things in order to get that in there. And so that's the first part of your question. In terms of the health HIPAA compliance aspect of it, the hospitals really need to know that if patients can make consultations through the app, that the data is not going to get out anywhere because you can make certain assumptions about people based on what type of departments they're making appointments with, so that data would need to be encrypted. And that's probably where the like the legal assistance would come in so that we can have help in improving that like the data is private and encrypted and isn't leaving the app or reaching like a third party in any way. And in terms of users like showing, this is like a long-winded answer, but like being willing to share that information, there's just like a bunch of disclosures on like that information can be allowed for the filters and people will know that about them. If that makes sense.
Olivia, thank you so much. It takes a lot to be on stage, so very kudos to you for being here in front of all these strangers and doing your thing. And go Gator, of course, because I'm UF. So I have a question. You talk about the way that you're looking to actually make a profit is through physicians and hospitals and those sorts of things. What's your plan for a hospital like UF Shands here in Jacksonville, where anyone can walk in the door and get services, and they are not the ones paying it, so then that cost immediately is on the hospital that is publicly funded, not privately funded. How are you looking to get into those markets when they are barely scraping by on the costs that they have just in general?
So could you clarify like the cost in terms of like the advertising budget that they have, or?
So if I'm going to have access, like let's say I don't have insurance, I have a tumor and I have to have it removed, and I go to UF Health and I have a wonderful physician, and they diagnose me right away and they're ready to go, and I'm freaking out and I want to be able to access this. But UF Health, because they are a public hospital, they don't have a lot of additional capital to put towards things such as this. How have you even thought about working with hospitals who serve everyone and not only those with insurance, and what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, the idea would be we can get like all hospitals would be able to join this, even if they take like certain types of insurance or not. It's just like the users, if they were on the app and let's say like they found out that they had something like that and they went on the app to talk about it and joined that community, and they were able to like maybe not all the hospitals listed they would be able to make consultations with because of their insurance. That would be something that the hospital would like list on their page, give information about that and everything.
But they could still access the app, so anyone and everyone.
Oh yeah, it's free for users or patients. The hospital subscription would kind of be a way to monetize it because it's the type of platform that like as hospitals move away from like traditional forms of advertising and like more like user targeted digital marketing, it would be good for that. That's to monetize it.
That helps. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia, great presentation. You started out by saying that you went out to look for answers to to the medical situation and prognosis on how this would develop. And I'm wondering if when Healing Hub becomes that central hub for people to find answers, how are you going to manage that the information that is shared there is vetted and is correct, medically correct?
Mm-hmm. Like misinformation and stuff. So I think we would start with, if people see something that they think is problematic, they could report it, and then we would review it and either remove it if it's super problematic or put a disclaimer, kind of like X does. My experience from searching through these giant Facebook groups is people do post like questionable solutions and treatments to like scoliosis that aren't good. Most people in the comments will be like, they'll flood the comments like this isn't right. But if something like that were to get reported, we'd probably just put a disclaimer or remove it.
And if I may follow up on that, does that mean that you then want to employ medical professionals to ensure that when you say we will check this, that these are medically checked?
That probably would. I think we'd start with like just a disclaimer that's like this may not be right. Like someone reported this, we don't know if it's right or not, but just like be aware of that. Because we don't like right now, no, but if it got big enough, probably maybe we would, but I think no.
Thank you.
Sorry, I went way back and forth on the answer, but I would say probably not, I think.
Yep, great presentation. I wouldn't mind seeing a positioning map, so something that sort of compares you and differentiates you from all the other different forums and communities that are out there, because there's so much noise out there. How do you get the signal through? That's I think going to be your biggest challenge is breaking in. And then to your point, you kind of asked the same question: how are you going to vet this information? Actually, there are some ways with feedback, kind of user feedback systems, where you can sort of kind of create a sustaining system where the good information bubbles to the top. But that's going to be a big challenge as well for you. But no, great. I think as a platform, this is actually an interesting venture that could be very large once you break through. Thank you.
Thanks.